Hi, and welcome to today's Pick a Card reading. So today, the Pick a Card reading is Fairy Guidance for Your Situation. So here's how this works. You pick a situation, anything. It could be career-focused, family-focused, love-focused. It could be about spirituality. Anything that you can think of, but it's just a situation that you'd like some guidance on, okay? And then pick a pile, and when I get to that pile, that will be your guidance for that particular situation. All right, guys, I have done this 2 other times, one with spirit animals and another with goddess guidance, okay? So let's go ahead and start by naming the piles. Pile number 1 is the blue butterfly. Pile number 2 is the pink butterfly. Pile number 3 is the red butterfly. Pile number 4 is the green butterfly. Pile number 5 is the purple butterfly, and pile number 6 is the orange butterfly. So while you guys are thinking about which pile you would like to pick, I just wanted to let you know that everything you need to know about me is in the description. Of course, my public readings are general, and if you would like more specific guidance for your particular situation, you can always order a private reading with me, all right? Okay, so that said, how about we go ahead and start with pile number 1. If you haven't picked your pile, go ahead and pause the video. All right, guys, so as always, I like to move the piles aside so that I can lay all of the cards out in a row. All right, pile number 1, the blue butterfly. Here is your advice. Okay, so we've got the Hermit. Let me read the message on it. Find or be a mentor. Take a break from society. A commitment to your spiritual growth. Okay. Ego, the illusion of being trapped, placing too much importance on material items, getting caught up in fear and worry. We have the Wheel. Delays are over. Sudden or unexpected good luck. A new car or travel. Okay. I'm just arranging these in the order I can interpret them in. We also have Tribe, okay? We have Kindness. We have the Broom and Whip and the Key. All right, so here's your situation. It's gonna move forward. You're gonna end up experiencing success in this particular situation. I know that because we've got the key here, and that is basically your answer. Okay, that's basically assuring you success. You will open the lock that provides you with what you're desiring in the situation. The Wheel is, it's a Wheel of Fortune in a classic like Rider-Waite tarot, right? In this, but in this particular tarot, it's more about forward movement. It's more study than the Chariot, for example, but it is still about forward movement. So we've got the Wheel and the Key. So that lets me know that as long as you put a whole lot of hard work into it, might be kind of tedious, okay? It might be kind of like repetitive, but as long as you put a whole lot of work into it like that, you will be successful in this situation. But wait, there's some more elements going on here. Be aware of how you might be deceiving yourself in this situation. You might be getting in your own way in the situation a little bit. Understand that this situation does require quite a lot of self-reflection. Because of the nature of the situation, it's like you've really got to go within and explore yourself, because this situation is changing you, okay? It's changing the way that you view the world and the way that you look at... It's like it's changing the way that it's changing your perspectives and how you look at society, and it's also changing some of your beliefs, for the better though, okay? So when we have something like the Hermit right next to a card like Tribe, it's really important to mention that this is probably coming up because you might might need to get some new friends that are more supportive of this particular endeavor that you're going through. And you could definitely use a little bit more kindness in your life. And I think that this is even being kind to yourself, okay? Because I definitely see how you're working hard on this situation. I see that you care, you know? You care so much that you might be working even too hard. We've got that with that ego. But kindness, be kind to yourself, okay? Treat yourself the way that you need to be treated. It might seem like it doesn't have to do with any of the situation, but it will change. It will get your attitude in like a little bit of an elevated position, so that you have a lot more confidence and a lot more I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like you just have a more positive perspective when you're being very kind to yourself. And if you have a difficulty understanding what I mean by that, I mean, treat yourself the way that you would want, like, your soulmate to treat you, okay? That's what I mean by this, is just be so nice to yourself, you know? If you have a little bit of a cold, for example, and, you know, how would you treat your soulmate in that? Would you fawn over them and be like, hey, here's some soup, and try not to get out of bed and all of that kind of stuff? Or would you be like, go to work right now? You know? I mean, it depends, you know? Some of you guys might actually be like, no, kindness is just, you know, keeping them on track and all of that. It's up to you. It's just treat yourself the way that you would want your soulmate to treat you, okay? And again, with enough hard work, this is going to be fine. You know, if the work ever gets too tedious, you can look at it in two ways. On the one hand, if you keep at it, you will be successful. But if it's not worth it because you're putting so much work into it and it just really feels like this isn't for you, then go ahead and step out of the situation. But just know that you're in a place where things are moving forward and you are going to reach that end where you're successful, all right? Okay. All right, hi, those of you who picked the pink butterfly pile number 2. We have the World, we have the Dreamer, and we have the High Priestess. We have 3 major arcana cards. We have Righteous, okay, we have Raising Your Standards, we have the Rider and the Lilies. Okay, so the lilies can mean 2 things, okay? I just wanted to mention that. It can mean purity or it can mean sexuality. So I do want to point that out, and I know that that's kind of like 2 ends of the spectrum. But I wanted to point that out. But let's kind of go back and go over this, okay? So when I see any kind of spread that has both the Fool and the World in it, I'm like, okay, so this is a situation that not only is teaching you something very valuable for your soul to kind of get to that next level, and it might even be for your consciousness or your emotions or your humanity to reach a newer level, okay? Because the major arcana starts out with the Fool going on a journey, okay? And it ends with the Fool completing that journey by basically creating everything that the Fool wants, okay? So let's go ahead and read. So for the Fool, which is called the Dreamer in this particular deck, we have embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, and trust yourself. That's very important. Make sure that it's not just about trusting yourself, but it's also about trusting your intuition, which we'll get into when the High Priestess comes along, okay? And then the World, a brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. So this is letting me know 2 things. First is letting me know that what you're doing right here, whatever the situation is, it's almost complete, okay? And you will be successful. So keep at it. And don't worry about taking risks. If you haven't been taking a lot of risks, but you have some kind of idea or some kind of feeling that maybe a risk should be taken, then go ahead and go for it, okay? So the High Priestess comes out too, which I love. The High Priestess is one of my favorite cards besides the Hermit. The Hermit's my favorite card. So we have trusting your intuition, careful reflection before taking action, insights that come through meditation. So that's a really good way of describing the High Priestess. One thing about this that kind of balances out the Fool or the Dreamer in this deck is that the High Priestess is cautious, okay? The High Priestess, she does consider all of the situation very, very thoroughly before she acts, right? She's okay to not take action until she knows for certain and all of that kind of stuff. However, the Fool's more like, let's go, you know, let's take a risk and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that in order for you to have the best outcome in this situation is to try to balance that kind of energy between that willing to move forward and take some risks and being a little bit more, you know, I would say, what's the right word here? Being a little bit more, I suppose, cautious and maybe even mysterious about how you're going to be proceeding forward. I really think that you've got the High Priestess energy down, though. I think that it's more of the Dreamer or the Fool energy that you need to kind of bring forward. Either way, you are going to end with success, okay? So we have Righteous, okay? This is a really interesting card to come up, and I just want to mention that. But with Righteous, you know, with righteousness and everything, this is letting you know that you're on the right path, okay? What you're doing right now is what you're supposed to be doing. I mentioned that this was something that was really raising your vibration, whether that's on a soul level or on a human level or both, okay? So just know that this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're on the right path. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Raising your standards. Understand that it's okay for you to assert what you want in this situation. And it feels like this is a situation where there's been a lot of giving on your end. And it's okay if you to assert what your, I suppose, boundaries are, what your needs are in this situation, okay? So raising your standards is just about making sure that that this is a good payoff, right? And so it's just make sure that what you're going for is good enough for you. Again, it's the right thing. This is what you're supposed to be doing anyway, but make sure that as you go through the last steps of this journey here, that you're really aware that you deserve the very best, okay? So here we have some extra information about the situation, because that's the only way I can think of this, because this is a complete thought to me, right? And then this is like, oh, and by the way, so by the way, you should hear news very, very soon. I mean, I would put it, it seems like it's going to come very, very quickly. Okay. I would put it within the next 2 weeks. If you guys are watching, doesn't matter when you're watching, just 2 weeks from now is when I'd put this news. And, that news might have something to do about sexuality. Okay. If it doesn't, then, somebody really needs to talk to you, and I think either the person who needs to talk to you might feel sexual towards, or that person might feel sexual towards you. But I really feel that for the majority of you, this is a sexual message. This is like somebody wants to, I don't know, it's like they want to, they want to come into union with you. Is the best way I can put it. I don't know how this has to do with the situation, unless this is maybe a love-based situation, or maybe this is a situation where maybe you're working with somebody and the two of you are falling in love or something like that. But just know, this could either do with your situation or just be this extra message that's popped up, because you need to know this as well. But somebody's going to tell you that they've got a lot of sexual energy towards you. What I'm getting is that for the majority of the viewers that picked pile number 2, somebody is feeling very sexually drawn to you, and that's something they're going to be expressing soon. All right, guys? All right, so you guys are going to be very successful in this, and you're going to be learning a lot. So you're good. All right, those of you who picked the red butterfly pile number 3, let's look at your situation. So first we have justice. Take time to review the details carefully. You will win in the end, fair and objective decisions, okay? Try to be detached from the situation. We have the 3 of spring. Plan your next steps with an eye to the long term. Have patience. There are more good things to come. Satisfaction from a job well done. And then we have the 7 of winter, okay? There might be a better choice in this situation. Just understand that when you're thinking about this situation and you're and you're uncertain, understand that like if it comes from a place of fear, if you're uncertain because you're afraid that you might be wrong about this being right, then that might be your mind playing tricks on you. It might be your thoughts kind of going around in circular logic and kind of spooking you, right? If you're getting the idea like, ooh, this really doesn't feel worth it, like this isn't coming together, keep watching because there's some more cards to go through, but maybe it might be a situation where you're going to need to get out of, okay? So I'm just going to say that up front. Even though these 2 cards are saying, yeah, you're going to get there, it still might be something that's not worth it to you, okay? So we have gossip surrounding your situation. That's really interesting. Let me see what we have here. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if we got the gossip card here too. We didn't. So do understand that whatever you're doing here, if you don't want gossip, because some people want people to talk about them, and some people need people to talk about something in order for them to be successful. For example, a business, right? So that might be good, but basically just know that people are interested in this situation that you're in. And as long as you kind of keep it under wraps and keep it to yourself, keep it between the people involved, then you shouldn't have to worry about this. But just know that you might not want to talk as freely to people about this just because it could kind of come back and bite you, right? Okay, so we have honoring your true feelings. Yeah, this is so important in this situation, and that's what this 7 of winter has to do with. As long as you are truly in this, okay? And let me tell you that when you have these really powerful feelings, sometimes we don't know whether or not those feelings are because we want to serve ourselves or if those feelings are just pure, right? Let me give you an example, and I wish I could think of one that doesn't involve love, but it's just such a great example, so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Some people might love someone because of what they do for them, okay? That's like almost a selfish love. It's like, I love you because you make me feel better about myself, and you it's like you give me the things that I'm not willing to give myself, okay? That kind of stuff. And then there's love where it's just I want to celebrate that you exist, It's completely different. One of them is needy and attached, and the other one is more celebratory and more along the lines of that kind of unconditional. It's more like compassion and that kind of thing. Honor your true feelings. If you are in a situation where your feelings are more self-serving, then honor that. Just for example, in the situation that I just mentioned, say, what, I really like to be with you because you make me feel better about myself. When I'm around you, I feel better about myself, and I don't know how to make myself feel better while I'm by myself, that kind of thing. Just be honest. And if you really just, again, I understand that not all of these situations are going to be love oriented. It's just the best example I can think of. And if you're of the other type, just be like, what, I don't even care anything that you do. I just want to watch you grow and develop and be who you are, that kind of thing. So, honor your true feelings. Also, if your true feelings are something that's like, I don't know, less honorable than you'd like, then get out of it, okay? If it's something that you really feel strongly about, and I really think that the people that do will know it immediately, okay? So if you're confused about this, then you might be of the people that are kind of a little bit more you might be in a situation where you're a little bit more trying to take care of your needs with the situation, okay? But you know, when you feel completely 100% in on it, then that's when it's okay to stay. But when you're not feeling 100%, that's when this Seven of Winter comes up. At the end, regardless of which situation you're in, we've got the Star and the Sun, okay? So we've got two astral bodies. When we get a couple of astral bodies in a reading, we have this kind of sense, at least I do, have this kind of sense that fate is playing a part in the situation, or the universe is kind of orchestrating this, right? So I do want to say that you do have a lot of hope. You have a lot of direction in the situation. You definitely are in a situation that you're supposed to be in, at least at this point. And with the Sun in the Lenormand, okay, this is a fairy Lenormand. This is like very, very successful, okay? This is going to bring you success, bring you happiness, and that kind of thing. So for those of you who can stick with it, it'll pay off. But if it's like, I mean, if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. You know, that's the best way I can put it. So you guys, in this particular group are going to be divided. And I really feel like those of you who know, that you want to stick with it will absolutely understand what I'm talking about. So those of you who are a little confused and going like, I don't really know, consider, just take the time to like reconsider the situation. And if you still feel good about it, then keep at it. If not, it might be in your best interest not to. All right, guys? Okay. All right. Hi, pile number 4. Those of you who picked the green butterfly. We have awakening. Right. Change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness. You might need to take a step back too. All right. We've got the 3 of Summer, news worth celebrating, announcements, and friends you cherish. We've got the Ace of Autumn, windfall of money, advice, or assistance from others, a very successful project. Happy change in your career. We also have danger, okay? That's interesting here. We have family harmony. I actually don't see that very often. Seriously. Usually when I see families, I see a lot of negativity more often, unfortunately. And then we have the Child and the Fish. So I'm getting something a little bit unusual for your pile, you guys that picked this one. I'm getting that you guys might be better at interpreting the Child and the Fish than I will be, okay? So I'm going to still interpret it the way that I feel that it's connected to the situation. But if you interpret this differently, please just go with your own interpretation, because that's what I'm intuitively getting. And just so you know, the Child typically represents either a literal child or something new, okay? And the fish usually represent money, abundance, things that come in clusters, okay? Then we've got family harmony here and danger. So let me kind of think about this here. Okay. Here's the deal. I feel like this situation is a little scattered, okay? I don't feel like this is a situation where it's necessarily needed or it's important for it to be planned at every single level. It feels like it just kind of needs to come together naturally, okay? One thing that you can do, if you're the kind of person that really likes to organize, you can take a step back from a situation and look at it and try to look at it from different angles and start strategizing, okay? to get to the point where you want. I would imagine that a great deal of you are asking about work or career, because we have two cards that indicate money. Given that a windfall can sometimes be associated with an inheritance, and we've got family harmony and a child here, we could be dealing also with a situation where someone has passed. So I do want to mention that. Here's how I feel like it goes, right? I feel like intuitively I feel that this new perspective is going to bring about more abundance in your life, whether it's a windfall or not. It's just going to bring some abundance to your life, okay? This windfall might happen or it might not in your particular situation, but I'm just getting like a lot of resources. Like you'll be able to have more resources if you follow this, okay? And that resource might be abstract. It might be resources like esteem and love and things like that, okay? Wisdom, stuff that's very, very abstract. Or it could be something very, very material, okay? So I do want to mention that. With these new friends, in danger, it's not necessarily new friends, but it's like with celebrating with your friends in danger. I just want to mention that either you guys are going to need to be concerned about your friends, okay? Maybe there's somebody in this that might not be they might be, for example, somebody might be discouraging you in this situation, and it's not for your best good, okay? Or maybe everybody's discouraging you, but one of your friends is kind of pushing you on, but that friend is really pushing you into danger. It's going to be different for each one of you, of course. So what I've got here is that the friends that you surround yourself with, or the people that you're surrounding yourself with in this situation, might be a danger to you, okay? And I feel like this is just a warning for those of you. This is just a warning, letting you know that to kind of just pay attention to other people and consider their motivations, okay? However, if they're part of your family, then you're going to be fine. This isn't a family member. This would be a friend. And then we've got something new that's going to bring about money, okay? So this kind of goes back to these two cards, all right? With this kind of awakening, that's what this card's called. It's the Hangman in traditional decks. With this kind of new perspective, and then that being linked to some kind of windfall or some kind of abundance, it makes sense that this represents a new it's a new beginning or something new coming to you in the situation that's going to bring you a lot of abundance. And again, that could be material or it could be abstract, okay? So that's where I'm getting here. It feels like this is kind of, this message right here is kind of set out to the side as just being, friends might be a danger, not family. Obviously family harmony can also go with a child, okay, if this is a literal child, okay? Either way, the child is associated with abundance, okay? So it should be fine. Alrighty, I know that wasn't maybe the clearest read, but that was authentically what I got, okay? So that's my advice for your situation. Alright guys, those of you who picked the fifth pile, the purple butterfly, here is your reading. We have release. Let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities. It's time to move on. Okay, so I'm just going to say it right up front. Please stay for the rest of the reading, because card like this is the very first card that we get. It feels already like maybe the situation isn't the best thing for you. Let's go ahead and see what else it says though. It does say manage your resources wisely, achieve a balance in how you spend and save money. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is also cautioning towards spending money. But this is also saying that you'll have an emotionally fulfilling life with family or friends, and that you're surrounded by people you can trust. Okay, so keep that in mind. Whatever you need to let go of probably isn't going to be a person. It's probably going to be a state of mind or a situation, or maybe it could be something material like property, or maybe a trinket. It could be anything like that. It most likely isn't a person, okay? Because we are getting that you're surrounded by people that you can trust. And the Ten of Summer actually is the same as the Ten of Cups in the traditional tarot. And the reason I mention this is that that shows that you're successful in your relationships. You're fine there, okay? So we have reevaluation. Probably a really good piece of advice for this particular situation, because sometimes when you get into a situation where you need to release something, and where you need to be cautious, of course, being able to look at that situation, try to be as objective as possible, try to reflect on how you truly feel and think about the situation, will bring about more awareness, and then you'll have more options, okay? So if you decide to move forward, when you do, you can move forward fearlessly. So if there is still fear, about a fear surrounding finance, or fear surrounding maybe you're holding on to something that isn't serving you anymore, then don't move forward. As long as that fear is okay, it's within reason, okay? Because anybody going through any situation is going to have some fear, okay? That's because we're human, but if it's like really out of proportion to the situation, and you don't have clinical anxiety, right? I'm trying to cover all my bases. Then moving forward would be fine, okay? So here's what we got. Oh, this is great, because this is really kind of going back to the Ten of Summer. So I don't feel like this release is a person, okay? We have the bouquet and the dog, all right? The dog represents loyalty, a really good friend, somebody who is going to be there for you no matter what. And the bouquet represents a gift. So what this is saying, the Lenormand is saying, is that your friends, the people who you are most close with, okay? And this could be family members too. It could be somebody who is your partner, somebody you're in love with too, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a literal friend. It can be just any human, basically, or even animal, is a big gift to you. That's a huge resource for you. You actually might want to talk about the situation with them, so they can give you a good idea about how to move forward. If you're asking about a relationship, you're fine, okay? We've got the Ten of Summer, it's fine. We've got the gift with a loyal friend, you're fine. Your person's going to be loyal, reliable, and all of that good stuff. You can move forward fearlessly. The only reevaluation that I would suggest for those of you who are asking about love would just be, where are you in this process? Do you need to release something that's holding you back from truly exploring this relationship? Or is this something that it isn't going to be that fruitful for you? That kind of thing. Sorry, let me restate that. I didn't say that right. Either is there something holding you back from exploring this relationship, or is there something that you're doing that isn't fruitful for you in this relationship? And try to release that if you can, okay? All right. It looks good. The only thing that I would say is just be aware of the material world with your finances, and manage your money and your resources wisely, okay? So resources is also talking about don't overwork yourself, make sure that you're getting enough sleep and that kind of stuff, okay? All right, so this ended up being a pretty good reading. Okay, hi, those of you who picked the orange pile number 6. We have the Moon, powerful intuitive epiphanies, letting go of worry and fear, understanding the truth of the situation. Yeah, we've got the 8 of Spring. Okay, so this can cause a lot of stress, because and I'm guessing that in this situation might be either moving really fast or there might be a lot of components to it, okay? So I would imagine this is either complicated or it's just happening really quickly, okay? And this lets me know that you guys might be under stress when it comes to this particular situation. Just know that as much as you can, put it out of your mind, by distracting your mind with something, maybe mundane or something tedious like chores or watching a show or playing a video game or something like that. You can kind of put that on the shelf, and that's when intuition kind of kicks in with the moon energy and kind of spits out an answer for you out of seemingly nowhere. And then we've got the Six of Autumn. This is all about balancing. This is all about, what you put into the situation is going to be coming back to you, okay? This is also about, like, if this is a situation that when you're going about doing it, you're mostly not happy, then you're going to continue to experience unhappiness in the situation. So if you want to change that around and you want to stick with the situation, then do things when you are calm and happy and grounded, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to reap that same energy, So kind of keep that in mind. We have gifts. Okay, so there's something about the situation that you, the viewer, is really talented at, okay? And this is encouraging you to use your talents to get what you want in this situation. It might seem like I'm talking about like manipulation maybe, but I'm not, I'm talking about the things that make you who you are, that can help people be maybe persuaded, or that can entertain people, or whatever it is that you do that's your talents and your gifts can really help in this particular situation. So keep that in mind. You will have some new opportunities. I feel like those of you who are in this situation have an idea of how you're supposed to move from point A to point C. And it seems to me like with new opportunities, it's like what's going to happen is you've got A, and then naturally you're going to go to B, and then you'll get to C, right? With the new opportunities, it's all like, well, actually, maybe you could skip around, or do something else. I feel like it might not be such a straight path to what you're doing in this situation or what you want. It might need to take a little bit of a detour, but I don't feel like that's going to influence the end result, okay? So kind of keep that in mind. Oh, and then we've got the moon and love. Well, the heart. So yeah, it's important. We've got the moon twice. We're talking about intuition. We're talking about, sometimes this can talk about things that are hidden, that are about to come to the light, okay? And sometimes, especially in Lenormand, this can be talking about recognition, okay? So somebody might come forward and confess their love for you, or this, because the moon comes first, you might need to come forward and recognize that you have love feelings for somebody else in the situation. So you've got all sorts of things going on here. One thing that this is not saying is what the outcome's going to be, all right? But with two moon energies here, I really feel like as long as you go with your intuition, okay, and you remain balanced, and you put that positivity into this particular situation, you will get what you want out of the situation. It's all about that attitude and being in tune with your own personal intuition, all right? Okay, so looks like things would be good. This is one of those situations that you really have the control over, all right, guys? All right, so thank you so much for sticking to the end of my reading. I really appreciate it. I'm really thrilled about, all the places my channel's going, and just how great it is to participate in this really awesome community, you guys. Everybody is so great to me, and I just really want to thank you for allowing this to really blossom and turn into something, you know, that I'm really proud of. So thank you so much for all of your likes and comments and subscribes. I try to read all the comments. Unfortunately, I can't respond to all of them, but just know that I am paying attention. All right, guys? I will see you at our next reading.